It's the world. I'm in P world. All right, we got the NBA 2K21 review by IGN. I just want to see if they doing their homework and keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Doing real research, tapping in with the community, man. Let's take a look. See. R.I.P. Kobe.
You hear this said about annualized sports games every year, but this time it has a lot more truth to it than usual. NBA 2K21 is more of the same. That's good in some ways. None of the minor changes have spoiled the exceptional NBA basketball experience on the court. Of course, it repeats the sins of its predecessor as well. Off the court, NBA 2K21 remains a disjointed mess and riddled with noxious pay-to-win microtransactions.
Hey,
The
talk that talk,
addition of
IGN.
shot stick aiming and a My Career reskin are nice improvements and all, but it's becoming harder to ignore the lack of upgrades to key game modes while the focus on monetization only intensifies.
Talk that talk, IGN. Okay, IGN coming in hot, yo. Oh, man.
Between the baskets, NBA 2K21 features a handful of small upgrades, but is otherwise extremely familiar if you've played it in recent years. The best addition is the new shot stick aiming, which demands the challenge of actually aiming shots rather than just timing them. It's really difficult to master and resets the learning curve for experienced players in a beneficial way.
You don't have to use it, but you know what I'm saying? If you master it, I'm trying to tell you, you're going to get a boost on it, but continue.
Hitting a green shot, which requires nailing the target in that meter that appears when you hold down the right stick, is tremendously satisfying. This
Yeah, it
system
is.
also provides some much-needed nuance to offense in the paint, especially when you're trying to hit a floater or a crafty layup. Maybe it's because it's one of the few things that feels entirely fresh about NBA 2K21, but it stands out as this year's best addition.
Lillard, that's in there. Anthony with the assist.
53% covered. Hey, the amount of people that make like shots like that in the park and in the rec is crazy, bro.
One of the reasons the lack of gameplay updates is so frustrating is that a handful of legacy issues remain stubbornly present. For example, the CPU will take the ball and walk into the backcourt for no reason, resulting in a violation. Another issue is that players frequently behave oddly in transition, like LeBron James slowing down for no reason in the middle of a break. Similarly, the CPU is often much too aggressive on double teams, making it far too easy to find open teammates.
Tatum.
Sometimes I don't even really like some games. I'll be working on my assists, my career wise. I'll be working on assists, and I don't even really be like scoring for real. Like I'm trying to get the playmaking badges done, and I'll be getting double teamed. So I mean, they make a good point, but we knew this already.
When he fires one, that falls.
This has been an issue for several years, and it's maddening that it's still
There
around.
you go.
That being said, player spacing continues to improve. Non-controlled players behave more realistically off the ball, and particularly in online play, AI teammates are better at creating space for themselves and making room for stars like the Greek Freak to isolate with more effectiveness. Touches like these showcase NBA 2K21's ability to emulate a real game of basketball, but that smooth simulation makes it more jarring when things go awry.
I've seen that animation before.
It's unfortunate that nearly everything outside of the on-court experience pales in comparison. This year's My Career campaign, called The Long Shadow, is a colossal disappointment.
Didn't play it. Let me know if it was fair or not, but they said it's a disappointment. We skipped it this year, man. Sorry.
The story follows Junior, a promising young talent playing in the shadow of his deceased father. In between his journey from high school play to the NBA draft, very little time is spent developing any of the uninteresting characters.
Why 2K always coming with these traumatic stories or like these from the struggles type stories, man? Like, why one year we can't get a story where, you know, somebody had a nice family, you know what I'm saying? A lot of money. It was just nice at the hoops, man. Like, I mean, I get it, but you know, everybody don't got a crazy like struggle like that. You know what I'm saying?
And too much is spent on Junior awkwardly chasing after his girlfriend to declare his love like something out of a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, and keep them
Aside
girlfriends
from
out of
being
this
able to
too,
see
man.
college hoops in a video game again, the whole story is disappointing. Thankfully, there's an option to skip the story and head straight to the NBA.
Yes, sir. That's what we do.
The rest of the My Career mode is pretty good, if you can ignore the horrible microtransactions that infest its every corner. But of course, ignoring them is easier said than done because
Crazy.
NBA 2K21 won't let you look away from its monetization train wreck. Virtual currency is used for everything.
Hey, I said it once and I said it again, yo. Microtransactions is the worst thing that has ever happened to video games. Should have never happened, yo.
From upgrades to attire options, and grinding for it is a pain. My Career has so much potential as a deep create-a-player mode, if only the grinding were a little less tedious. It's a shame that the Neighborhood, a free roam area where you can play pickup online matches and customize your player, is caught up in all the microtransactions. It's now set in Venice Beach, and that's a nice change of pace from last year considering how much time you spend there. The colors are vibrant, the courts look great, and there's something soothing about the cool blue backdrop. It's a lot of fun touring the area, buying new gear, and playing some hoops with others. Meanwhile, it doesn't seem like a coincidence that the modes left untouched by microtransactions have seen no meaningful upgrades. Even though My League has enough features to serve as an excellent simulation, there are so many opportunities to inject it with the life of what makes the NBA so fun to follow, but nothing has been added.
I thought you was going to be able to make a grill in the My Career mode this year. I guess not.
And even though 2K has done an impressive job of letting you play as the WNBA, with great likenesses of players like Sue Bird and Natasha Howard, you still can't use those teams in My League for some dumb reason. The best way to play NBA 2K21 is against other people, and that's only emphasized by the gameplay tweaks to this year's iteration. It feels like the skill gap continues to grow between players who were willing to put in the time to learn the mechanics, which is a good thing. However, as has become an annoying tradition, online play remains hit or miss. Latency and crashes are still a problem even on a wired connection. There's also a crashing issue when entering or leaving loading screens in the neighborhood.
Oh, here we go. Drum roll.
When it's clicking, NBA 2K21 has some of the best gameplay in sports video game history. But that's been true for several years now, and though this year's iteration improves on a handful of things, most notably the aimed shooting mechanic, there hasn't been much movement. At the same time, it's a shame that 2K's focus isn't on the fun you can have on the court, but instead the money that can be extracted from your wallet off the court in the My Career and My Team modes, which just aren't fun to grind
pay to play
without paying. Maybe the new set of consoles on the horizon will bring a fresh start for the NBA 2K franchise, but right now it's hard to muster a lot of optimism about the series' future. For more sports games...
What y'all think, man? IGN gave it a 6 out of 10. Okay. I don't know. I don't got too much to say about 2K21 current gen, yo. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. Let me know what y'all think, yo. Till next time, it's the world.